And away we go. So, right off the bat, we have a lock for the zippers, which is awesome. Also comes with a little TSA code. Key area. Oh, baby. I guess we'll start with the Vader head. We'll see how this compares to the Rubies custom version. Right now, it definitely seems a lot lighter. Plastic seems a little bit cheaper. But let me grab the other one, see how it goes. So this is my Rubies helmet with custom lenses. Right off the bat, I noticed this plastic on the base is definitely thicker, and the grate in the mouth is metal rather than this one, which is plastic. It does hide the inside a little bit better. The lenses on here are definitely better than the original Rubies for sure. That's one reason why I had to replace mine, because they were a weird clip-in plastic and warped. So if you were in there, it made seeing awful, and it would sweat up and fog all the time. There's them side by side. I will say that the Jazwares ones definitely has a better detail. Features seem to be a little bit more striking than the original Rubies one. Okay, so for the Rubies, the helmet, also definitely a harder plastic than the Jazwares. Detail's not as good as the Jazwares with that middle protrusion, but the way this adheres is heavy-duty Velcro, where the Jazwares version is different. So it has the top, but it's these white clips that clip on to the top here. I feel like that's going to get broken with multiple use if you're not very careful. Here's the Rubies and the Jazwares from the side. As you can see, they added the detail more pronouncedly with the Vader helmet than with the Rubies. Interesting, it's almost switched in comparison. All right, so one of the main differences I'm seeing here is the Jazwares has this adjustable knob with head, which hopefully that fits me. I have a gigantic head, but that is something that I ran into with the Rubies. As you can see, this thing is tight as it could possibly be for my head, but I could slip it on and off, especially when I needed to breathe a little bit more. There's also heavy foam padding on here. This definitely helped absorb a lot of the sweat when you're in, you know, a leather onesie. This one doesn't have that so much, so I'm not sure if you're just going to be dripping out of this thing, which seems pretty gross. The lenses look to be clipped in. Definitely, and from the inside, not the outside like the original Rubies one. So we'll see how that fits. Here is the Rubies. Now with the Rubies, I always noticed that this neck flared out a lot. That was always an issue, like when looking up and down, it would get caught on the chest piece. We'll see how the Jazwares handles it. All right, here is the Jazwares. It definitely has a nice silhouette, and the details are there. Again, this helmet portion with the clips that will break. I don't know what they were thinking with that. But also, with this plastic fill here, instead of it being an open mesh metal, it's harder to breathe in here, for sure. And I also feel like my chin is going down into the neck when I talk. It doesn't feel as comfortable as the Rubies does, which feels more like you're putting on something of quality. This feels cheap and flimsy. Also, these metal bits are plastic on the Jazwares, where they're metal on the Rubies. To show you a little bit more in detail as far as what's inside this Darth Vader helmet, the only thing that they have for any kind of padding is this nose bridge. That's terrible. Whereas when I put the Rubies on, it feels nice. It feels like I'm padded to the gills. I'm not going to be smacking against plastic, and it feels snug and firm. All right, now we have the chest piece. So the left is the Rubies, the right is the Jazwares. Definitely two different eras of Vader. This was from, I believe, the episode 3, the Anakin version. As you can see, the paint's a bit worn. I think I've had this thing for at least over 10 years now. This one, the plastic, it all seems pretty comparable. This one's definitely thicker. This one's more flimsy. The details are a little bit better, for sure. And obviously because it's newer, it's nice and shiny. The gray is a lot better. The one thing that they did that was different was, so the shoulder pads are on a hinge with a leather underpiece, so that didn't rub against you. This one, they used a clip. And it just looks like they clip. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go. We'll see once we put it on. Now, here we have the belts. The top one, if you couldn't guess from the wear, is the Rubies, and the bottom is the Jazwares. I gotta say that this belt, definitely an upgrade from the Rubies. It even comes with a little lightsaber holder, which is nice. The boxes are bigger, the lights are brighter. The front, both of these are Velcro. This one has a little bit more detail in the little circle area there. The box itself, this is all very nice. This is metal, looks like. Nope, plastic. But I like that a lot, and they decided to give you batteries too, so nice of them. Also, with the Rubies, the on and off switches are in the back, little toggle switches. But with the Jazwares, it's the buttons on the side. While it's more convenient while you're wearing it, I can definitely see if you put this in storage or anywhere else that's not the suitcase, those buttons might click on and waste your batteries. Other than that, looks cool. Okay. So the clip does not clip. And that's on both sides. And here we have the chest piece. On the left we have the Rubies. On the right we have the Jazwares. You can definitely see the size difference, so that's for bigger dudes like me, that'll work better. And it did come with batteries, so that's great for that. The details on this are definitely way better than the Rubies, for sure. You get all the little buttons and clasps and Orabesh. All over here, you're pretty basic. This one is the webbing strapping with buckles, so it's a lot more adjustable. And those feed right into the pleather suit, where this one is more of a leather and it goes over the suit with Velcro. Over time, I can definitely see that breaking down a little bit. As far as the power cord, we have here, and this clicks on right there, and it does like little random sequences of blips and bloops, while this one has your automatic lights right there and automatically your breather. That's amazing for sure, especially if you don't have a breather for your Darth Vader. All right, back to the case. We have your voice changer right here, which I believe straps on to your belt. I'll need to put the batteries in that sucker. But as for the case, the pad comes right off, as you can see for the helmet. And then we have our boots. Let's see how the boots go. On to the shin pads. As you can see, mine have definitely had some wear and tear. This is the Rubies, and this is the Jazwares. Now, they do look nice and shiny. However, some major differences, not including the size, the width of the shin, but how they're attached. So Rubies had this fabric zipper option, which was great for me. I had short boots that went up past my ankle, but nothing past that, so this went over that, and it looks seamless. These, however, have strap buckles. I guess. I mean, that definitely works, but it's not going to be as seamless as something like this in your silhouette. Also, a major concern, since this is the XL version of the Darth Vader Jazwares, you know, bigger people have bigger legs. So the Rubies definitely has it there. The plastic's pretty comparable. It's that pretty flexy plastic. So I don't see over time that really being an issue too much. Definitely some detail issues with the molding process on the Rubies section. This one's more clean. But other than that, I gotta give this one to Rubies a little bit. Also the height. The height seems to be definitely a little bit bigger. Almost the same, but yeah, definitely a little bit bigger by about an inch. And on to what I believe is the leather onesie. Comes in this fancy Star Wars bag and zips. We've got the gloves. And here are the gloves. Right side is Jazwares, left is Rubies. The Rubies, this is my second pair. The other pair deteriorated, so they're a bit tight because I think I have the large instead of the XL. But it's definitely a firmer leather pleather. This is more of a soft pleather. We'll see how they fit. Here's the Jazwares on. I definitely like the look of the gloves. Looks pretty authentic. Feel is nice. They are a bit tight for an XL. You see, like when I tighten up, I can feel it's pretty tight, but nothing I'm not used to. Here are the Rubies, also pretty tight, but there is a differentiating seam line for your hand. So when you make your fists, it doesn't pull on the rest of the arm part of the glove. Tighter hands. But yeah, that's that. Less puffy. And here we have the infamous cod piece. We have a leather strap with adjustable buckles. So that's nice. Definitely will wear over time, however. But then I saw this in the promotional videos and commented on their Instagram. This cod piece looks like shit. It's folded foam inside with pleather over it, but this whole section is just a pad. Like, it's just a fluffy pad. There's no definition. Whereas the Rubies, and forgive this, needs a little bit of love, like re-sewing this back in, but you have the definition in the cod piece. It's also a molded piece of foam with more leather on it, but this is pretty hard. And this comes with the buckle strap. So, like I said, I've had this over 10 years now. That's probably the worst of it. This, I feel, is not going to last that long, especially with the leather straps over here. I definitely see those breaking down. And here we have the base, the leather onesie. That same soft pleather leather feel. I'll take this out, see how it compares. Okay, here we go. You have the undersuit, the leather onesie, the fucking sweat factory that is the Darth Vader costume. Each one's made with a polypropylene faux leather feel. This one's rigid. This one's nice and soft. What I do see up here near the neck line is there is a mesh athletic wear kind of vent, so that's good for keeping you a little bit cooler, especially around the chest plate area. We do have a neck that comes up a little bit, which is also nice. The major thing I see it might be a problem, but from what my wife tells me, who's a seamstress, they are the same material, just different production styles. So this is a nylon, more of a, almost like a coat nylon, while this one is a loose, almost cottony nylon. And I gotta say, this is probably what has saved this costume for over 10 years, because you sweat like a mofo. This nylon's moisture wicking, so it's like slightly absorbent, but also wicks the moisture away. And then when you store it inside out. And I've never had, like, there's no stains, it doesn't smell, which is nice. This, I'm not so sure. The backing, I'll get to the backing in a sec. Okay, the backing, you do have that same kind of athletic mesh material for keeping it cool. That's also nice. The straps, however, leather, they do have a tightening clasp to really, you know, suck it to your body. I do see those deteriorating or breaking down over time for sure. This one, as you can see, here's the rest of the strap to the front box, but it's just a zip up, and that's it. The neck is also just a basic neckline. It doesn't have a collar. So this one's a bit tough. Without prolonged testing, I'm not sure. This one definitely feels more substantial, more rigid. This one feels like it'll be more comfortable. Okay, so for putting on the Rubies, as you can see, this strap here, it goes to the box in the front. That way you don't get any lines for the box. Over the costume, it just sticks out. Keeps it nice and tight. Okay, so this is the Rubies pleather onesie. As you can see, this thing is strapped on. There's no actual straps to strap it over with. One thing I will say, besides the fact that I gained weight, it's a bit sausagey. The zipper in the back goes down to my ass, which is nice for when you need to slip on the pants and then slip on the front. From what I saw on the Jazwares one, it doesn't do that, but we'll see how that goes. But here is the fit. For the most part, it feels nice, it feels sturdy, it feels like a costume, it doesn't feel like pajamas. Again, emphasizing the cod piece, not to give you a big crotch shot, but this cod piece, hard, and there's a clasp underneath that goes into the groin around the back that clips. So it stays there, it guards your crotch. All right, and here is the Jazwares cod piece. It has the leather strap, which it doesn't have as much range as the Rubies. It doesn't go, it's just a flap. It doesn't have a buckle that goes underneath the crotch area. Yeah, it just kind of hangs there. Jazwares, I don't know what you were thinking with this one. One thing I did notice, and you can tell why, here's where the rub is from the helmet, but the cape has metal clasps on the actual chest piece. So that makes it a lot easier to get on and off. However, it does, the weight of the cape will drag this up, which then hits your mask and get that rub. I'll see what the Jazwares version does for this. From what I saw, it was Velcro in the suit itself, and then the chain was a separate piece. So, okay, I've hit a snag, and shame on Jazwares for this. So these belt straps are supposed to be for, you know, tightening and tailoring for a lot thinner people, but as this is an XL suit, they did not remake it for XL specifications. So the zipper comes to the mid back, which makes it a lot harder to get on. Secondly, this seam does not get past my big fat ass. So, without busting seams. So, Jazwares, what the fuck? Added note for the Rubies and Jazware belt. So the belt is definitely nicer, obviously. I had to add an extension so that it would fit with Velcro. But the area right here, there's Velcro underneath this to attach to the actual leather piece of the belt. In the Rubies version, there's Velcro here so that this attaches into one kind of collective piece, where this one just kind of floats. Okay, also, the belt buckle is Velcro, like I said, but this is the hard little hook part of the Velcro. So, when you put it onto the belt, right, I'll just snap it on there, the metal hook part is going to rub against this cod piece and cause a lot of scratching. Again, what the hell, Jazwares? So we're getting the cape out of the packaging, and the cape itself, the fabric is gorgeous, right? It's definitely well made and constructed. The inside has a nice shiny bit, which will look great for when you're walking around. However, and this is another what the fuck, Jazwares. So once you get to the chain, which is metal on the Rubies, this is a rubber. And also it's sewn. Yeah, it's definitely gonna break if you. It's definitely gonna break over time, and it's sewn in, which means it's absolutely positively gonna break. And there's a little clasp for it. Wonderful, made out of metal. Should have been all metal, Jazwares. As this is a two-person job, I have my wife helping me, so these are her hands. Jazwares, you did not make the cape sized to extra large people, so it doesn't go over the shoulders. The cape is not big enough for an extra large neck and shoulders. In order to complete the Jazwares version, I had to use my Rubies leather onesie in order to finish it because it didn't fit. I didn't put on the shoulder pads because the clip didn't stay clipped, and the chain was rubber, and I didn't want to break it. So, all right. So final verdict: Jazwares did a lot of great things with the actual costume, but where the details count and how it fits, they definitely had some questionable decisions on the quality and way they did things. I'm not sure if they had a outfitter help them out with this type of thing, or they're just kind of winging it as a toy company. But I may have to give this one to Rubies for sure. And we just did the math. That costume came out in 2005, so it's almost 20 years old. And it still looks great. This thing, I don't think, would go past 5 years of wear. The case is friggin' cool as shit. Definitely great for when you go into cons, but yeah. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know if I should keep this, piecemeal it out, or what?